What is shakin', Internet? This is Salts bringing you a dash of Salts, the weekly question and answer where you guys ask questions for me, Salts, and I answer them. Hence the question and answer part. So, this week is the first week of the real January stuff. So we're finally going to get into the January questions. Before I get started, as always, I'm going to explain how we do it. I want you guys to leave questions for me, Salts, at in the comments section below this video. Or you can send an email to a.dash.of.salts@gmail.com. That's a-of-salts with periods in between at gmail.com. I will pick 5 to 6 questions every week if I really like them, and I will feature them on the next week's show. Once they're featured, then you're automatically entered to win a $20 gift card at the end of the month. The $20 gift card can be whatever you choose, either Battle.net card, or a Steam card, or a League of Legends RP card, or any other card that I can get my hands on, depending on your region. So either way, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? The first question today comes from Andrew. Andrew asks, what is your favorite animal? So this is actually a very, very easy question for me because I've had a favorite animal for a very long time. My favorite animal is the kangaroo. I love kangaroos. I think they're awesome, and I think they're fantastic because they have really cool jumping abilities. But most importantly, I actually really like the kangaroo's tail. I think the kangaroo has this really cool long tail, and when it's jumping around, I love it. Love it. I've seen plenty of kangaroos in zoos and things like that. I've always loved those, and I actually used to draw Sonic the Hedgehog characters a long time ago. I would do Sonic the Hedgehog anthropomorphic character illustration stuff, and when I did that, I created a character that was a kangaroo, and I just loved him. Absolutely loved him. I actually would like to do a music video. I'm working on maybe something like that. I have like this idea for a music video that features that anthropomorphic kangaroo character to what's the song? Muse, Uprising by Muse. Absolutely love that song, and I think it's a fun little video that I kind of put together. But I've never kind of put together. Maybe once I get it all together, I'll post it here. But the problem is I can't do it because Muse obviously owns their own song, and I do not own their song. So I'd have to figure that out. Definitely couldn't monetize that video or anything, but whatever. So the short answer to your question is my favorite animal is a kangaroo. All right, next question. Next question comes from Mark Jimenez. Mark Jimenez, I believe. Mark Jimenez X asks, which dungeon did you enjoy the most and why? Okay, so there's a ton of dungeons. I mean, there's lots and lots of dungeons in the entire game. I don't really know specifically why I like this one the most, but for whatever reason, I really, really, really enjoy the Lost City of Tol'vir. The Cataclysm dungeon that came out with Cataclysm in the Oldham zone that has like the Egyptian architecture and things like that. I absolutely love that dungeon, and I think it's a little bit of the aesthetics. It's totally different than any other dungeon you've ever seen anywhere. So that's like the number one reason. The number two reason is all the boss fights are kind of cool because all the boss fights have some kind of mechanic going on. The first boss you have to avoid all the bombs on the ground. The second boss is the alligator boss, and you have to fight off the alligators or do things like that. And I especially liked getting the achievements in it. The third boss, you had to kill the phoenixes or something. I can't remember specifically now. But he had like the second phase and third phase, stuff like that. So I really liked the Lost City of Tol'vir. That was one of my favorites. But I've honestly really enjoyed the Warlords of Draenor stuff. I think that of the Warlords of Draenor dungeons, I think... okay, well... Let me take a step back. So of the Warlords of Draenor, I think Grimrail Depot is my favorite just because it's kind of short and it's still kind of fun, and people have a lot of problems with it for whatever reason. And I don't have any problems at all. Like I don't have a problem with that dungeon. Like the second boss kills people apparently, and I'm like, you can basically do the second boss with just a tank and a healer. Like the DPS doesn't have to do anything like at all. I don't understand. So I'm going to retract that, and I'm going to go a little bit down a tangent story path here real quick. My favorite dungeon the most memorable dungeon, not really my favorite dungeon, but the most memorable dungeon to me is the Scarlet Monastery. Because I remember way back in Vanilla WoW, before Burning Crusade, before all this other craziness that you had out there, I remember being an Alliance hunter. And I played in Vanilla WoW as Alliance hunter, and I was hanging out in Ironforge one day. And people were like, hey, we're going to go do Scarlet Monastery. And I was like, that sounds cool. I've never really done any dungeons before. And I was the appropriate level. And they said, okay, let's go. And, there weren't any flight paths back then, that could get you there. And even if you're not going to have those flight points at that point. So it literally was a 2-hour trek from Ironforge north through the wetlands, across the through South Shore, all that stuff, across that giant lake in the was it Hillsbrad Foothills or whatever? I can't remember, that giant lake just north of Dalaran, or the old location of Dalaran. It took us 2 hours to walk from Ironforge all the way across there, and then we had to cross the Tirisfal Glade. And as I've never played Horde before at that point, and I was just like, this is so cool. Everything is so different. And we finally got to Scarlet Monastery, and we finally went through all that. And I remember the first time finishing off the final boss of the High Main Inquisitor High Main, or whatever her name is. And she dies, and then she revives everybody, and you're just like, oh my gosh, we got to kill him again. It was fantastic. It's one of the most memorable experiences I have in all of World of Warcraft ever. Like I said, it's not my favorite dungeon, but that is absolutely my most memorable dungeon of all time. So yeah, let's go ahead and end there. So that you kind of got my questions. Your question answered, so let's move on so we can get some more done. The next question comes from Bear Gills. Bear Gills asks, what got you into WoW? Who introduced you? So this is a pretty easy question again. I started WoW about 2 or 3 months right after its launch date in vanilla. And that was because I was in college at the time and, just playing games and stuff like that. And I had a friend, and he's like, dude, this World of Warcraft game's super awesome. And I was like, I remember playing Warcraft 3 and some other games. I thought they were pretty fun. And he's like, no, man, this game's going to be awesome. And we both got it. He's like, okay, let's try it out. So we both got it. He wanted to really play a Night Elf rogue for whatever reason, so I played a Night Elf hunter. We leveled up, we played, and I thought it was fantastic. I mean, we both knew nothing about the game at that point. There was nothing out there on the internet, so it was a lot of exploration and trial and error and all that kind of stuff. And it was just lots of fun. I remember, I actually remember very vividly getting to level 40. And at 40, you could finally buy a mount. And it was like, oh, yes, we can finally buy a mount. And then we looked, and we saw that to buy a mount, it cost 90 gold. And neither of us had 90 gold. I had like 60 gold, and he had like 50-something gold. And I was like, dude, here you go. And I just gave him like all of my gold. I was like, here's 50 gold. I want somebody to have a mount between us so that I can see it. And so we had to pull all of our money together at level 40 so that he could finally buy the training and buy the mount, because it was, so expensive at the time. And it was just fantastic. He got his white tiger mount, and he was running around, and I was like, I'm so jealous now, but I don't have any money. Oh, it was fun times. Justin. Either way, so that's kind of how I got introduced to WoW for the very first time. The second time was in, what is it? It was in Wrath of the Lich King. So I kind of lost playing WoW. Didn't play it almost all through Burning Crusade. And when Wrath of the Lich King came out, I finally picked it up again and got back into it with another friend and got him involved. And I thought it was just fantastic. I mean, but really the beginning is where it really matters, and that was kind of fun. So either way, let's move on to the next question so I can get some more done. The next question comes from Tute, or Toot. Not really sure how to pronounce it because there's some Portuguese name here, so he just said call him Toot. It's like, all right, Toot. So Toot asks, which healer do you like to heal you the most? I was actually thinking about this just the other day. I was running a dungeon, and no, I was not running a dungeon. I was in my raid, my guild's raid. And we got a Pug Paladin healer. And the Paladin was doing decent heals, but oh my gosh, Paladins cannot, like, maybe it's just, I don't know anything about the class apparently, because I don't understand how Paladins can't multi-heal. They can only heal like 1, maybe 2 people at a time with their beacon of light stuff, and it feels like paladins cannot heal a group whatsoever. I do not like paladin healers right now. But regardless, I think my favorite healing class is the priest. Druids are okay, but it's a lot of hots and stuff like that, which I think as a guardian, I think I'm a little bit better with the hots because I have more health overall, and than other tanks because I'm just a big old sack of health. But I really like the priest. I feel like with priests I get a lot of healing and I get a lot of absorption, and I feel much safer and much healthier if I have a priest healer than any of the other classes. So just to keep that answer pretty short, I think the priest healers are my favorite. Moving right along. Next question, the fifth question, comes from Sean Cushing. Sean Cushing asks, if you had a DPS spec as your main, which class would you play? So I actually do have a DPS, the only DPS spec class that I've actually played or actually do play from time to time is my mage. I absolutely hate with a passion playing my frost mage. Like, if I play it as frost, I just want to grind my teeth and just uninstall the game. I hate playing as frost. However, I absolutely love playing as fire, but I can't level as fire because when I'm leveling as fire, I just die all the time. I'm not very good at it because I play so many tank classes. I'm used to just grabbing a whole bunch of mobs and just AoE and killing them down. And it's a totally different mindset with mages because it's like I got to single target that guy down, and then I got to single target that guy down, and the whole time I'm just getting beat on and I'm dying because I die fast. So the point is, I actually really, really like playing my fire mage, but the problem is you have to have enough critical strike to get it rolling on the pyroblasts. So I actually don't like it because it's kind of gear dependent. However, if I actually had a DPS spec max level and I had to play it at all times and that was my main, I would probably pick a hunter because I just love hunters. I love the mechanics behind them. I love beast mastery. I don't know if it's the best spec right now or anything like that for rating, but I absolutely love beast mastery. I love having my pet just do tons of damage, and I love just being there to kind of just augment the pet. It feels like it's awesome because I can just kind of AFK and my pet can kill stuff for me. It's all good. No big deal. Yeah, I remember the days when I played a hunter. That was fun. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do a bonus question, a sixth question this week, just for fun. And we're going to go ahead and end it here on Brantor. Brantor asks, what is your favorite ice cream? This is a rather complicated question because there are a ton of flavors of ice cream. And there's a lot of specific ones that you can't find in other places. Most of the time, I like ice creams with chocolate peanut butter in them. Like not like peanut butter itself, but I like the chocolate covered peanut butter. So there's this one place called Grater's, and I don't know if that's a national chain or anything like that, but Grater's has some fantastic ice cream, and they have these big chocolate chunks in their ice cream. And any flavor with that chocolate chunks, or with the chocolate chips, that they call them chips even though they're like huge. They're not chocolate chips, they're giant. And any flavor with those chocolate chips is fantastic because just simply because of the chocolate chips. They're great. They're so good. They're so chocolatey and they're so big and everything else. Now, if I go to a store, if I have to go to the store and actually buy, ice cream off the shelf or something like that, I almost always just go for plain chocolate, or sometimes I'm feeling frisky and I decide to go for Rocky Road. I actually remember hating Rocky Road when I was a kid. I tried it at the Bluebell Factory. I went to the Bluebell Factory, and it was fantastic because I was like, oh, yes, I get ice cream. And at the end, they give you this free sample of ice cream, but they didn't have plain chocolate, and they didn't have plain vanilla. And that's the only ice cream I had at the time. Like, I was poor, I guess, so we never had any fancy ice creams. So I was like, well, I don't have chocolate, and you don't have vanilla. What do you have? And they're like, well, we have Rocky Road. And I was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to try that. It sounds good. And I tried it, and I was like, this is junk. There's stuff in it. I don't want stuff in my ice cream. I was a stupid kid back then. But nowadays, I'm all about the Rocky Road, and if I get the chance, I'll get plain chocolate. So that's pretty much my favorite ice cream. I like to get lots of chocolate ice cream with chocolate sauce on the top and chocolate chips in it. Chocolate, like triple chocolate, fudge, chocolate. I like chocolate ice cream. Okay, so That's going to go ahead and wrap up this video. So we're going to go ahead and call it out one more time. Thanks to the 6 people who asked these questions, you have been entered into the January contest for the $20 gift card at the end of January. If you would like to submit a question to A Dash of Salts, please leave it in the comments below or send an email to a.dash.of.salts@gmail.com. That's A Dash of Salts with periods in between @gmail.com. I really appreciated all the questions this week, and I hope to get even more next week. So please send me in those questions, and you will be entered to win. All right, thank you very much for watching this video. Please like, favorite, share, subscribe, all that jazz, and, as always, you keep it saltsy, Internet.